Baja California is a rugged place, teeming with marine life. So much of it seems like it's been unchanged for thousands of years. Not an island like it was once believed to be, but the peninsula is separated nonetheless. Returning here to this familiar place, we ease into a routine.
Just finished some breakfast and now we're both gonna do our couple hours of work. Ruth puts a couple hours in on the video and then I pick a boat project to do. So today,
our week-long passage finally wore through the frame on one of our side panels.
This has just been a temporary mounting. I just did it real quick just to get them on, get them out of the quarter berth and get some more power in. But I intended that it would only be like this for a short period of time, and then I'd do it right and properly. But I think I installed these in Catalina back in California like 2 years ago. And I'm amazed that they've held up this long. But finally, on the crossing from Banderas Bay, we had one of the mounts come loose on the port side panel. So it's like, all right, now I kind of can't keep putting it off. So I've got these two black locust runners that I took off from the shrouds up there. They'll be perfect for this. I'm gonna cut and attach them, one there across the frame of the panel, and then I can attach these mounts solidly to the wood runners instead of just to the flimsy aluminum frame on these solar panels.
Another piece of gear that's getting worn out are our cameras, which are also on the upgrade list for the summer.
Okay, got the two wooden runners mounted. So I had to go back down into Rediviva's hardware store underneath our bunk up forward to find all the odds and ends for mounting everything. But I've got a nice jumbled, mixed and matched set of fasteners, but should get the job done. So now I just got to mount these onto there.
The mounts now have 3 attachment points, and to something more solid. Garrett's also installing an adjustable arm, which will add some support, but mainly allow us to point the panels towards the sun.
Install these little metal arms, and then that should be it.
Tested on our next sail, the panels are much more secure. By the afternoon, it's too hot not to be in the water. Uh-oh. The spring and summer can be dense with jellyfish and other things that sting. Apparently watermelon rinds scare the jellies away, but we're short on that to test the theory, so Garrett finishes his bath from the paddleboard. Our routine begins with small talk about the weather. We explore the guidebooks and the possible places the forecast permits us. One modification before we pick up the hook and discover where the wind's blowing.
Alright, little project today. I'm widening our gaff jaws a little bit. I will probably eventually just build new gaff jaws, but for now I think this will help a lot. So I'm just gonna modify these ones and then we'll see. I just tore the leathers off. made some marks. I'm just gonna cut it off real quick and let's get it done. Here's the end result. As you can see, quite a bit more play and room on the gaff jaws. I think that'll be a lot better when it's at hoist, so it won't pinch on the mast as much. And in case you're concerned about me cutting these down and then seeming really thin, this is black locust, which is a very, very, very strong wood.
Goodbye, Muertos. The wind is supposed to join us maybe in an hour or two.
If there's anybody out there who is an expert in hydraulic systems and setting them up with either engine driven or with an electric motor, reach out to us, because I've been considering for a while now of converting this to still having the manual drive option, but also having a hydraulic system run up, so we can not have to do this every single time. But I like having the solid manual windless, because that is foolproof, and you shouldn't have to, and you should never have to worry about it, because it's just, I mean, it's so rugged. Okay, go. Okay.
Good 80 feet of chain workout. All right. We'll see where we end up tonight.
I've also thought about adding a secondary electric windlass, because we have a buddy that says he has a really powerful one that he'd be willing to part with. So we might add a secondary windlass and then keep that one strictly manual as the bulletproof backup.
Garrett's been scheming improvement projects, many ideas still being thrown in and thrown out. We have 3 weeks until our flight back to the States. Redaviva is a very manual boat, exactly how Garrett wanted her. But now, after 2 years of cruising and looking further, some winches and electrical assist wouldn't hurt. We'll be part collecting during hurricane season to launch the next series of projects, the next phase in Redaviva's completion. I make breakfast down below while Garrett manhandles the main, our biggest and heaviest sail. We made fresh water while running the engine to get out of the bay and find the wind. We're going around the 18-mile long island instead of taking the inside channel, which we've done every time before. The current can be strong and winds inconsistent. If even one of those things is against us, it can be frustrating. We'd rather enjoy the lazy, longer route, set the sails and grab the more favorable wind on the east side. Embracing this no-rush mentality is liberating. We put the engine into neutral and coil our lines before setting the Yankee and continuing under sail alone. Got a little bit of bird poop on him. We talk for hours or sit in silence. Mostly we fantasize about changes to the boat.
And shape and fit, so it's easy to put up and take down, like a nice shade awning that goes across under the mizzen boom. So we can't stand up under it obviously, but if all this is padded, then we can kick back like this.
More than just a vessel, more than just a home, an obsession and a way of life. We're just two kids who fell in love and are intent on making it work.
Ow! What did you do?
It is a little bit past 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We are nearly at the north end of Cerralvo or Jacques Cousteau Island, whichever map you're looking at.
Tequila.
Thank you. Cheers. We drink tequila after sunrises and enjoy the last bit of shade before we turn more northwesterly, following the coast.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring her a little up on the wind.
Okay.
That way we won't risk jibing. So here you go.
I steer while Garrett unprevents the boom and readies the running backs for our controlled jibe. Our wind vane Charles takes a break for this maneuver. Garrett pulls the main sheet, bringing the boom centerline, before taking up on the port running back and letting out the starboard. These support the mast, and one is always taut on the opposite side of the sail, an extra step aboard a gaff-rigged boat. A jibe is changing course and switching sail from one side to another when the wind's behind you. A belly full of wind, the sail is very powerful, and we take extra caution not to stress the rig. Our other sails are much smaller and less strain on the rigging, so they come second. The winds are mellow today, and pivoting from one tack to the other is also mellow. There goes my shade. Our wind has lightened a little bit, going about 2 knots. And right now we're kind of thinking our heading might be around here, Agua Verde. But we shall see. It's still about 90-ish miles. But it's been our course for the day. Garrett's making us some early dinner that we can kind of graze on through the evening.
Hindsight being 20/20, I definitely should have left the rice plain. Because it's not that it's bad. It's that I forgot that I marinated the fish in the most like intense, bold, spicy sauce.
Yeah.
And then I put a bunch of like spice and flavor and stuff in the rice. Very spicy. Ready for your weird
Yeah.
dinner?
Thank you. You said weird paella thing that's oddly
So
pretty
turned
tasty.
into some weird kind of like paella-ish kind of thing that I find really tasty. Might be a bit bold for you, but
The weather sure felt bold. Around midnight, we got an adrenaline rush.
yeehaw. The southwesterly just turned on like a light switch.
Yeah, it did. We kind of saw this on the weather report, but I didn't quite believe it because it was such a condensed, isolated spot. But Garrett made a great call to put the reef in. We were motoring for a while. There was just no wind at all. No wind to speak of. Garrett was just getting me up for my shift when all of a sudden the boat quickened and seemed to lurch forward. The sounds of the boat changed, alerting us the conditions had changed.
Whew. Oh, that was exhilarating.
That was better.
We could probably make good speed if I put the whole main up. But I was like, I was just thinking about that southwesterly that showed up. So I reluctantly put a double reef in the main, also because I knew that I'd be waking Ruth up for her shift. But I put a double reef in the main just in case. And we're just like, you know, just slowly sailing along at like 3.5 knots, just super mellow. And I came up forward to wake Ruth up for her shift. And then all of a sudden, you could feel like everything, the whole boat changed. And I came up and it's blowing like 20 something plus knots. Just like that. Just like, oh shit.
And she's like a racehorse just starting to take off.
Yeah. And now we're doing 6 knots. And so I rolled up the Yankee. And so we're doing 6 knots under just the staysail, a double reef main, and a mizzen. Just charging along. But that would have been really boisterous with a full main up. Yeah, I went from like 8 knots of breeze maybe to like 20-25 knots in like 2 minutes.
Yeah. It was crazy.
The rest of the night was uneventful as we sailed beyond the southwest patch. Farther in the sea was southeasterly winds, and we felt both swells, butting heads like bickering siblings. The waves weren't big, but coming from multiple directions was relentless. Sleep wasn't easy and impossible for Garrett. Without some speed, we tossed about obnoxiously. Garrett trimmed the sails tight with a yawn and struck up the motor. If you look close, you can read the sea. 1 swell, 2 swell, 3 swell, 4, and our wake trying to push them aside. This is the Sea of Cortez headache. A relatively small space where wind and current create funny waves that refract off land and bounce off each other. Garrett attempted once more for sleep. Exhausted, we looked for a close anchorage and adjusted course. We can make Isla San Francisco before noon, and about 4 more hours was all we could take. It's hard to anticipate the movement of the boat in slop like this, causing you to hit more things, and leaving you with a short fuse. We approached the island from the east and rounded the south end to find shelter in the Hook. Just north of the La Paz area, and its unique shape makes it quite popular. The water in the shallows was a shade of turquoise that instantly gave me energy. Look at this water. Oh my gosh. Wow. Families on vacation with all kinds of toys brought life to the desert air. We found a nice spot in 18 feet and sunk the anchor. jellyfish found me here. Nearly invisible and called aguamalas, they were thick, cutting my swim short. The Sea of Cortez is beautiful and also hostile.
Do you want me to pee on you? I can pee on you. Alright, I'll bring this up for you.
Garrett finally offered something besides peeing on me. If we had vinegar, that would have been better than pee, but I'll still take fresh water over urine. The harsh balances the beauty, and I'll still take that over the mundane. On the scale of living, you can sit near the middle, where it's stable, or you can swing to reach the extremes. Just know it's gonna sting a little.
Pee on me.
You know, you learn something new about your partner every once in a while. And apparently today, I've learned that Garrett's into golden showers.
Ow, it burns. Pee on me.